Hi everybody, welcome back to Harris Family Adventures. If you're new here, my name is Heather, my husband's name is Justin, and we have a 10-year-old son named Reece. Over the next year, we'll be going to Mexico, Italy, and traveling the United States, so come along on the journey. If you watched some of our other videos, like and subscribe so you can follow along. You know that one of the parts of our plan for the next year is going to be homeschooling. Now, I was never homeschooled. My parents were involved in public education my whole life. I work in the public school system. So homeschooling was always kind of just, it wasn't very common when I was growing up. I didn't know anyone. I literally knew no one who was homeschooled. And in my mind, homeschooling was kind of for people who were very, very religious, and it was just about God. And I do think there probably are some people that have chosen it for that reason. But I watch a ton of YouTube videos, and I see so many people who have chosen homeschooling for so many different reasons. I think one of the first people that it kind of shifted my thinking was actually Pioneer Woman. I knew she had homeschooled and I figured, oh, they must be very religious. And then I was reading and it was just, I do think faith was part of their homeschool, but their oldest had to ride on a bus for so long. It was so far to get to the public school that she just couldn't imagine her little one being on a bus for that long every day, and just decided to homeschool and stay. And I don't say just in that it's a light decision, it's just a flippant thing to do, but it works so much better for their family. So we are going to be delving into homeschooling, me having very little experience with it. Truly, it is just people I watch on YouTube that have given me life experience. And one of them, our tribe of many, actually lives in the same city that we do, and I know she's been homeschooling forever. So if she ends up watching this, Sarah, I would love some tips specific for our state. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The research I have done so far through the Department of Education in our state is basically I need to submit some paperwork. So I need to submit his birth certificate and then just other paperwork, basically kind of a agreement, like a legal agreement, that I will be providing education for my child during this year, and that I understand that that education may not meet all of our state standards. And no, we do not live in a state that follows some of the other standards that other states do, but basically understanding that I will be providing this, or that I will be in some way monitoring that he's getting that education, and that I understand he will not be receiving the same education as other students in Nebraska going to some type of public school or even a type of private school that still follows our standards. I actually just had dinner with one of my friends who teaches at a private school, and she was talking about that, you know, without a huge district office like I was able to work with, she was responsible for going in and making sure that they were hitting those state standards. So I need to sign that he is mine. Send in that birth certificate. I need to sign that I will make sure he is getting an education and not just laying in bed and eating goldfish all day, and that I also understand that I'm taking the risk of him not receiving necessarily instruction in all of the state standard areas like he would be at any kind of more traditional school, whether that would be public or private. I know that there is a minimum number of hours that he is to receive education, but I did read somewhere, and I need to go back through. There's been so much that I've kind of just quickly looked at everything, and obviously I'm going to spend some more time. But I'm pretty sure that I don't need to keep a log of those hours necessarily, but just so I understand that that is what the state requires. So I believe that to be true, and that we can start as early as September 1st. We're going to come back to how it's kind of already started in just a bit. So knowing that, still I do feel, and I don't know the exact data, but I do feel a lot of people who make that homeschooling choice do it for some reasons that are religious based. So whether that be they want their child to learn more about how their faith fits into the world, or they want to monitor what their child is learning so that all of the principles are aligned with their faith, whatever that happens to be. So when I searched for homeschool curriculums, many that came up have that faith-based component to it, which is great. There are people that are super happy that that is part of it. We do not feel like that needs to be part of the education that he is receiving for like homeschool purposes. So then I saw a link that spoke to my heart, and it was best free homeschool curriculum. Going to one income next year and me not earning an income has been an adjustment, and it might be a really good adjustment in the long term. I have gone to Target and didn't purchase anything from the dollar section. I mean, that's huge. But I am trying to be more economical and kind of thinking about how we're going to make this work over the next year, wanting to have as many experiences as possible, so maybe not spending as much on other things. And the name of the curriculum that came up under that link for best, and it was an article of this is the best, faith-based, this is the best one for younger kids, this is all of that type of thing. And so when it said free, it said Khan Academy, and I've heard of Khan Academy, so that I've got that brand recognition kind of thing going for me there. And actually that same friend I was talking to, she said that they use Khan Academy at her private school. They use it for some supplemental math instruction. So I kind of feel like this is something that's been vetted. It's not something that's brand new. When I went to Khan Academy, it was very easy to set up my account, to set up an account for Reece. We were able to go through and select what classes we wanted him to take. We signed him up for 9. Is that too many? But one of them is personal finance. I'm like, yes, I would love you to have those skills. And then of course, violin will be something that we will be supplementing on as well. That's not part of Khan Academy. So we went through, we chose the classes. I've watched a couple of the videos, like videos for parents of kids under 12, and I love, and we haven't delved into it too much, but there's an assessment you can take. And so then if it says, oh, you've got fractions down, but you need a lot of help with decimals, it can tailor it to him and what he knows and what he needs more practice with. So I'm very excited about it. I signed him up for US history, and when I told him, he was jazzed about it. He was very excited about it. So I think this will be a good thing. I don't know long term. We might get to August and be like, nope, this isn't going to work. But as I understand it, as the superintendent, principal, and teacher, if we get to that point and we need to switch, I can Google good homeschooling curriculums and see what else comes up. So that is my first question to you. You guys know I always have a lot of questions that I want your opinions about. What have you found, or what have you experienced, or you have a friend who's experienced, or a sister who's experienced, or someone in terms of homeschool curriculums? I know there's tons of different kinds out there. Some of them require you to purchase a lot more materials, and that's not something I'm interested in for 2 reasons. A, cost, and B, space. When we're traveling, if we're going to drive to Massachusetts, we're already going to have enough stuff. I don't want to have to worry about a ton of extra homeschooling things as well. And maybe that's the direction we end up going, but just at this point, I love the idea of something being pretty much online based with very little extra things that need to be purchased. So what do you guys know about homeschool curriculums? In line with that, they do not offer a science class, which is interesting, Khan Academy. So I looked at our school district's 5th grade, since this will be Reece's 5th grade year, what they learn in science, and it's broken down quarter by quarter. So there's like wetlands, there's rocks and minerals, there's like intro basic things into like chemistry type of things. So those will just be different standards that I try to teach through a different way. So maybe we find a wetland if we end up going to Florida, and we kind of study that, or we find some other videos, or YouTube. You could be a great source for that, a great resource. So we'll see how it goes. But as of right now, Khan Academy for 9 classes, with me figuring out science stuff on the side, and then violin being incorporated also off to the other side, which could be a lot. Now, I love computers. I'm using computer right now to make sure I cover everything I need to, but I also think that there's a real value in still writing things down and still having to read them on paper. I'm old enough that I still like to print things out and actually look at the paper. It just soaks in better for me. So the other thing that I did purchase at Costco was one of those books, and it's you guys have seen them. They go from preschool through, I don't even know what grade, but it's like complete curriculum, and there's a section for reading and a section for math and a section, you know, all of that type of thing. So I think it was $15. It was one of the thickest. I should have grabbed it, but it was one of the thickest ones that I've seen. And Reece was a thing. It was like, I'm gonna have to do that. But I was like, buddy, you're gonna have all year to do it. And as we look through, it was like see these 2 pages, but it's only 5 questions. Like, it's just reading this and then seeing if you can find the main detail or main idea or a key detail, something like that. So that will be supplemental as well, and we'll just kind of see how they go. In my mind, being not necessarily like sitting right next to him all day long during homeschool, but being around, knowing what he's doing, knowing what he's working on. If he's working on fractions during math, being able to go into the book, find the pages of fractions, and just get some extra practice that way. That's kind of how it's going to work. I would also like to supplement with some chapter books. I think that ability to sit down with a book and read it is invaluable. And my friend and I were talking the other day about how I do not care for Harry Potter books. It's not my genre of choice. They are so long, but he loved them. So I love it for that, because he was engaged and they were real, literal page turner books for him. So what are some books? And a series is even better, because it kind of helps you find the next one. Books that a 5th grade boy that you know has found to be super engaging and a real page turner. I know graphic novels are a huge hit among that age group. Reece loves them as well. But I will buy him one and he'll have it finished that afternoon. So that's great, but other types of chapter books that could get him engaged, I would love to add to this as well. We'll have a lot of time in the car. So that's what I keep thinking too, is we can't necessarily do Khan Academy in the car, but we could do other types of workbooks or reading books. All right, and then in terms of the schedule, and I touched upon this in an earlier video when I had talked to my sister about what we were doing next year. She had said, so are you thinking, because she knows me and I'm a schedule person, she said, are you thinking like 9 to noon every day you're gonna do school, and then you're gonna, and I don't really know. So if you, again, you have any experience with homeschooling, or you know someone who has experience with homeschooling, will you share with me kind of what their day looks like? I do watch J. Merrill Stewart. I do watch Our Tribe of Many. I do watch Megan Fox Unlocked, who has done some very kind of simple, gentle homeschooling. I have watched Summers in Alaska, and I know they do homeschooling as well, but all of them kind of do it a little bit different. So what have you found, or people you know, what have they found to be the best in terms of setting up a schedule? What are the pros? What are the cons? All right, that is where we are in March with our homeschooling journey. Stay along. I am sure that this will change, and heaven only knows, a year from now I could be watching this and be like, what was I thinking? But you'll be along for the journey along with us. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can see how we change our decisions week by week, month by month, day by day, minute by minute. Sometimes it's minute by minute we're changing our minds. So stay along and see what we're up to next on the Harris